Hi guys, Pen Warrior Australia here with Government Witch Hunt is a Decoy Part 3. Now once again Centrelink is in the news and it's kind of good because this is not just an example of a government attempt to pull the wool over your eyes about what is really happening, but it's actually one of several issues that are being used to hide the corruption of government from the people. As you can see, now the government is saying that welfare costs the taxpayer $1 in every $3 of government revenue. Considering that welfare covers everything from age pensions to disability to unemployment to carer payments, etc., and government revenue from tax equates to more than 27% of GDP, or more than 445 billion, that leaves around 300 billion to do what? They are saying now that welfare overpayment costs the taxpayer 700 million per year. But I remember a lot of the news stories were about overpayments from at least 5 years ago. So it could be that 700 million overpayment is for the last 5 years or so. It's getting confusing because at one point the ABS report from 2010 shows welfare overpayment was an average of 130 million a year. So it's really skyrocketed. So based on that figure, 700 million over 5 years sounds a bit more real. Let's have a closer look at this. Let's see if we can find a benchmark somewhere. Oh, hey, let's use the parliamentary privileges rorts as a benchmark. When that was in the news 2 or 3 months ago, we saw that every 6-month period, some politicians were claiming up to almost $700,000. Now that would be almost $1.5 million a year. So if we have, well, let's just count 150 members of the House of Representatives and not worry about the additional 76 senators. And let's just cap them all at an average of $500,000 every 6 months for travel and allowances and put it at an even $1 million a year times 150 equals $150 million a year for just 150 people to travel to and from work and decorate their offices. Just as an aside, if we take that over, say, 5 years, that's 750 million. Is that right? Gosh, even helping to manage childhood obesity only costs $17 million a year, and obesity is supposed to be one, if not the biggest health problem facing the nation. So what would 150 senators equate to as a percentage of the population? Would that mean we are spending $150 million each year on even 0.5% of the able-bodied working age population? That's not salaries or tax breaks. That's just on their travel and a lovely new desk and airlift office chairs, etc. Well, considering it covers family travel costs, would that be considered welfare? Now, let's have a bit of a closer look at what's going on with revenue. Because travel allowances and office decoration costs for 150 people, taking up about $150 million a year of Australian taxpayers' hard-earned revenue that should be used to manage our country, is making me a bit nervous. No wonder we are billions of dollars in debt. No wonder we can't afford to care for our elderly and disabled properly. And considering the welfare bill is rising, along with the number of elderly and our need to look after them and disabled people and our need to ensure our children are properly cared for and educated, seems someone is going to have to give up something. Let's look at how much is coming in, where it's coming from. Then we will look at how much of that revenue the government is paying itself. Then we will look at what they are paying themselves to do. Well, according to the ABS, total tax revenue is 27% of GDP. It's just going up and up. So that means current revenue is about 400 billion per year. 1/3 of that is 130 billion a year on welfare. Now, one other thing that has been going up and up is the amount the government is paying itself to run the country. Now, we see here that just the public service alone is costing us over 146 billion per year. That's a smidge more than 1/3 of total revenue. What? Can that be right? Our public service, not the ministers or parliamentary entitlements, is costing a smidge more than one in every $3. 1/3 of total revenue? 9% of GDP? Oh, that's not counting the extra perks, like up to $600 a year to go to the gym. Why do we need so many public servants? And are they working or are they at the gym? Didn't we privatise a lot of stuff to reduce the costs of government a few years back? Oh, no wonder the politicians are claiming around $150 million a year for travel and new airlift chairs. They've been very busy bringing in new laws to police Australian citizens. And of course, we are going to need more public servants to police us, right? So, what do we make of this then? As you can see, the welfare bill, that's the cost of aged pensions, unemployment benefits, disability, sickness benefits, things like relief to help farmers, carers allowances, special needs assistance for schools, oh, the list goes on. Well, that takes up 1/3 of our total revenue, but it's costing us little more than 1/3 of our total revenue to manage that. So for every dollar we spend on welfare, we are spending something like $1.20 to manage it. And I'm pretty sure that is an underestimate, but I would encourage you to check the figures out for yourself. Add to that the cost of senior public servants and ministers and senators, and you see that a lot more than 1/3 of our total government revenue is going toward what? Keeping the population under control, policing us to make sure we pay the revenue so that we can get a new desk. I hope you're starting to get the picture here. There is a saying that goes something like, the one who points the finger is generally the one who was trying to divert attention away from their own misdeeds. Well, I think it goes something like that anyway. You have to have a think, and every time you see some government move to crack down, ask yourself, what are they trying to divert my attention away from? And what can I do to put a lid on this blatant government rorting of my hard-earned taxes? Why are they telling me that my granny is a leech on society when they are taking more money but are so busy at their Butte gym they aren't managing things very well? And yes, a lot more to be covered in the next part of Government Witch Hunt is a decoy.